What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I'm almost positive I made this video already. I couldn't find it, so maybe I'm just looking too fast, or I don't know. But I'm gonna make this video again because I was recently asked about this group, and I'm willing to say the name of this group because they're basically no longer in effect. And that's the Nazi Lowriders. Somebody asked me if the Nazi Lowriders were ever a factor on the yards, right? And I've heard things from different places. Wasn't my experience. Was not my prison experience. I can only speak to my prison experience. And I have to say that while the Nazi Lowriders have been made into the boogeymen in the media, and to an extent by the CDC themselves, I personally don't remember ever, not one time, seeing an NLR stab anybody on the yard. And I've been on yards with them, right? I've seen woods do stickings. I've seen skins do stickings. I've seen NLRs. Well, I know I've told the story where a black man came from the shoe and he started working with me in the kitchen. And he was a Crip from San Diego. And he pulls me over one day and he's like, "Hey, look, this dude that just landed on the yard, I was kind of like waiting on him, and I don't know who to get at. As far as these white dudes, I don't know who to trust, who I can get at without it getting blown out of proportion. But this dude Stretch that just got here, he's a dope rat." And what he meant by that was he's a plant by the CDC. They'll send him to a yard. He'll figure out who's bringing in the dope, and then he'll tell on them all to get all the dope dealers snatched up off the yard, right? Now, for the Southerners, that's extremely bad for business. And being that Stretch was white, he's going to be in the vicinity of Southerners because the whites and Southerners are in the same area of the yard, right? So I said, well, look, Holmes, this dude right here we work with, get at him. And an NLR got involved. And he was actually one of the NLRs that was trying to go against the legends for the whites. Those of you that know. But he got involved, and immediately it became a clusterfuck where Stretch took off on the Crip. And it left, for a second, it left it up in the air if the blacks were going to retaliate on the Southerners, even though all I did was say, "Hey, Holmes, talk to that guy." It had turned into, well, he had got at a Southerner, and the Southerner sent him to the wrong dude. So it almost got ugly. It almost got sticky. And it was one of those situations where cooler heads prevailed, but Stretch was able to get away. And had that NLR dude not got involved, things could have worked out different. And Stretch could have got whacked off the yard, and everything would have gone according to the way it should have gone. But because this individual didn't like that the message came through a black dude, he had a problem with it. But the Crip actually gave me the paperwork, like, look. And he actually was smart enough. He was OG Crip. He was smart enough to keep the kite from a wood, from the shoe, saying, "This dude told on me, man. Show this kite and this paperwork to my people. But the NLR dude was like, nah, he's black. Like, we're not going off of that. And I was like, well, I'm not black. And I'm telling you right now, this paperwork is legit. And this is one of your people. If you want to take the time to reach out and holler at your homeboy that wrote this, you could do that. But understand, if this dude starts snitching on the homies, and you guys were aware of the potential that he would snitch on the homies, then it turns into a whole different thing. And then that's when there was, old boy said, oh, well, we're going to deal with it. We'll take care of it. And then his we'll take care of it was they confronted Stretch. Hey, man, this dude said this and this and that. And Stretch said, if it was that essay you were talking about, if it was that Southerner you were talking to, I'll deal with that. Talking about me. We were told that everything that was said. So, and it was like, nah, it's not him. It's a black dude. And he's like, well, I'll get off on him. And so to the NLR dude, that was the perfect scenario for him. And all he did is he got a hold of during yard. Like, we were keeping an eye on him now because of what he had said. If it's that Southerner, so we, boom, we got straps out now. Like, what's up? He got his hands on a welding rod. And what he did was he bent it around his hand like brass knuckles. And then he sucker punched the Crip. So there's that incident. And then there was the incident where the whites and blacks were getting into it. And my bad, but I have to be honest. It was a massacre. I think 7 or 8 whites got hit, and it all stemmed from a drug debt. The blacks jumped the white dude, and then they wound up, like, every time the doors opened, they stabbed the white dude. And I think that when they stabbed like 7 or 8 of them, finally, the whites retaliated and stabbed one old man non-affiliate. It was not a good look at all. But that was, again, an NLR from the IE got at me. And he says, hey, look, I tried talking to your homie, the homie that had the yard. It was a llavero system at that time still. And he goes, he won't let me approach him. And I told him, I said, hey, Holmes, you guys are looking bad, eh? You guys keep saying you're going to do something, and you guys have told him specifically like 3 or 4 times, Holmes, so he's not open to hearing what you guys got to say. It's just like, hey, that's your guys' thing, do your thing. And he's like, no, but I'm trying to give you guys the heads up right now that we're going to do it right now. And he goes, you see where these dudes are posted up? And I said, yeah, we've been watching. And he goes, no, we're going to do it right now. I said, okay, I'll let him know. So I go over to the llavero. I let him know, hey, look, these dudes. He's like, man, I don't want to hear it. And I go, no, look it. And he goes, yeah, I was watching that. I go, they're going to do it right now. And he goes, all right. He goes, let the homies know. So we went around letting the homies know, hey, homies, these vatos are going to, get off. And, everybody was like, yeah, right. They haven't been doing nothing. And there was a bad batch of whites on that yard. The woods on the, I don't even want to say woods. The whites on that yard at the time, that was beef facility. I want to say 96. Maybe it was the ending of 95. Anyways, so they did their thing. And like I said, the dude that did the sticking, he let like 5 Crips walk through. And then jumped on an old man, non-affiliate. And those 5 Crips spun around and went over there and assisted the old man. And, the dude that did the sticking was not an NLR. He was the NLR selling. And he wound up getting busted for it. But when the Crips turned around and went over there to assist the OG, the dude that was doing the sticking had hit him and was so focused on getting away with the hit that he not only did he walk away with the piece in his hand, but he threw it over the wall instead of at least handing it to one of the other woods that was trying to fight off these 5 blacks. And, you know, the yard went down and everything. And then they called all inmates in, 8 block, return your cell. This was during the time, and a lot of these guys nowadays don't know this, but it used to be, especially in New Folsom. New Folsom always did whatever they wanted to do. When they had the incident where the white dude got jumped over a drug debt by the Crips, that's a racial incident. That happened on first yard. They ran second yard like nothing. And there was a stabbing. And then they opened the doors at 5 in the morning for the kitchen workers. There was another stabbing. New Folsom used to have a thing where they'd be like, just run that shit, man. So when they said, all inmates housed in 8 block, return to your cell block, they went. Then when they said all inmates housed in 7 block, return to your cell, the NLR dude lived in 7 block. I lived in 7 block. And when they said return to the building, the homies, we just, hey, all right, home, shaking hands, all right. And the NLR dude got jumped. The blacks jumped on him. He didn't have a strap. He was by himself. So for me personally, again, I heard stories of, I know in Salinas Valley, the NLRs went at it with the Southerners. And then I know that NLRs, first they went at it with the Northerners. After that, they got into it with the Southerners. And then there was pretty much a green light on NLRs across the state, at least in the level 4 180s. They said these vatos want to be tough. First, they went after the norteños. Now they're going after homies. So do these vatos have a thing against raza? Fuck them. And it was around that time when they started getting a lot of heat from the administration. And I remember hearing, I don't know how true it is, but I remember hearing there was a particular dude that was NLR that flipped on the NLR, and I wanted to say his name, but I won't. And he was instrumental in them deciding, the CDC deciding to label them, the NLRs, a prison gang. Not just a disruptive group, but a prison gang, therefore snatching them up, all of them off of the main line and validating them and slamming them down with the big 4. Again, that group is pretty much defunct. That's the only reason why I'm saying, that's the only reason why I'm saying their name. And I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever by this video. People asked me about that group, and I'm being honest in my personal experience with them. Again, I saw the Woods get their money. I saw Skins get off. I never personally ever saw NLRs do anything but tell somebody what to do. And in the 2 occasions that I recall, it was not a good look whatsoever. So that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.